Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Champions Podcast with me, Heather McCoy, and
James Squire, she couldn't save ourselves because our words weren't wording today.
yeah, it wasn't, but we're just gonna go with it. We're not gonna be, perfectly grammar correct over here today. And so we have a special guest with us, which he is an inspiring and amazing individual, and I'm so excited that y'all can get to meet him today. Angel Paez, we're so excited to have him with us. So, Angel, I want to get into your story because obviously I know you do many things, but how has it been for your life growing up and just how you were able to get into music and faith and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, howdy, howdy. I'm so glad to be on, and I really appreciate you guys having me. It's one of these things. It's really cool how connections work. That's the name of the game. Because I think Heather knows a really good friend of mine, Mr. Dustin, and just want to give him a quick shout out, tell him I love him. And but yeah, we'll get into it. So I started playing music at a really young age, and of course, I was brought up in the church by my parents and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I got started playing and singing. I started playing piano when I was probably around 2 or 3, and then that curiosity kind of, curiosity kills the cat, and that skyrocketed into me wanting to know how to play a bunch of different things, guitar, mandolin, fiddle. That all came later, bass, accordion, and all that stuff. But from what my mom says, I was trying to pick out hymns on the piano that I would hear at church, and she didn't really, I'm a toddler at this point in my life. I was young, so she didn't know what would stick and what my curiosity was and stuff like that. What my kind of the things I liked were, and so she said that she was really surprised when she'd hear me on on the piano Sundays after church trying to figure out what those melodies were, and that's kind of what kickstarted that whole curiosity for me was that it wasn't just a phase, you know. I was wanting to learn music, and eventually my parents figured out that I was in this for the long haul, and now, fortunately, I'm blessed enough to be able to be playing music. Not quite full time. I am still looking for another source of income, a job, if you will, and that comes in time. And I'm trying not to rush the process and be comfortable where I am, be comfortable making connections, playing gigs, traveling around the state of North Carolina and even beyond to try to spread the good news of Jesus and play some good country music while I'm doing it. And so that's kind of where my faith um started taking shape too. As a young as a young man, I was kind of on and off in my faith journey, I guess you would say. I'm not perfect and nobody is. But yeah, I wasn't out doing bad things. I just kind of turned away from God for a couple different reasons, but ironically, as God tends to do, he works in the most mysterious ways, and he I got led back to him. Um, and it's funny, it's not one particular thing that kind of led me back to him, but I think what helped me was playing in different churches, really. So there was a time when we were playing a lot of churches, me and a couple buddies. And even you know, I wouldn't call them revivals, but they were singings, and that helped me more than playing in the clubs and in the bar scene playing country music. It's ironic. that I was doing both at the same time. But during COVID, I felt just I felt a little down and felt convicted to pray. And that kind of started a whole new chapter in my faith journey. I will say faith isn't um, a one size fits all, as y'all probably understand. It takes form in many different ways, and sometimes your faith has to shrink a little bit before it's able to grow and before you're able to be a light to someone. But um, I guess, that's kind of the short version of it all.
Yeah, and how amazing it is that you could just pick up music. And I don't think people that don't play an instrument or maybe they don't write don't understand just how significant music can be to people. I mean, it can just get you through good, bad, the ugly, the joyful. And it just, especially if you're doing Christian music, it speaks to you in a way that a lot of music may not. But I think it's so cool that you also do country. And I watch a lot of your videos of you doing your country, and you're such a good guitar player.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I haven't seen you play all the other ones, but I know I've seen you play guitar many, many times. And I know Dustin always raved about you as well. That's how I found you, like you said. But what has it been for you just with your music? Because obviously, and I believe you do your own songwriting too, right?
Well, that's something I'm working on. I do I mean, you talk about challenges and stuff like that in
Mhm.
music, and that's for me, playing comes so naturally. And I don't say that in like an arrogant way, but it's something I do have to work at, but um songwriting is a whole different gambit for me, and it's something I've talked to a lot of songwriter friends about and said, how do you just, sit down and write? Because for me, I have to have a whole process. I gotta have the guitar out, or I gotta be in front of the piano, and it just doesn't melodies. I write a lot of riffs and melodies that comes a lot easier to me than lyrics do. So my process is always been start with what I hear, start with a melody, start with a form, because then I can, it's easier for me to come up with lyrics and stuff like that. But even then, I'm still struggling with that aspect of it. But that's actually one of the goals for this year is to, have my own music and be able to maybe put something out in the country and bluegrass realm, bluegrass gospel even. That's kind of where my niche is, because well, I didn't start playing bluegrass, but I my background is very heavily rooted in bluegrass, and I'm still playing a lot of that today. Playing mandolin and fiddle and guitar with several groups, and even doing session work and stuff like that. And that's really, when you work for other people and it's their original music, that's really inspiring for me, because that's when you say, well, maybe, they can do it and they're writing their stuff and it's good material. Why can't I do it, So that's one of my goals for this year. I sort of deviated from your question there, but it goes back into writing my own music, um, not just the instrumentation, and being able to hopefully scrape up some money and put stuff out on the platforms.
Oh, I have no doubt you'll do it. You continue to amaze a lot of people, and so I have no doubt. I'm gonna let Champ ask a question because I don't want to hog the mic because I know he's got a question. Champ,
Yeah, man,
how
absolutely.
amazed
I
by Angel are you?
so I am still there's something the angel's holding back on, and I'm not exactly sure what that is yet. So we're kind of we're holding back a little bit. So I'm sold on the angel, but I'm just kind of still trying to figure this one out. But what is like? So I'm sure that there are challenges both within the music realm, but also within life. And so, what has been one of your challenges in life to kind of overcome? But the music has probably helped that. That's the fair question.
Yeah, I guess to get candid with both of y'all, and I kind of know um both of y'all's stories, and y'all are champions in my eyes and in many other people's eyes because y'all have learned to overcome and deal with, the cards that were dealt to y'all, and that's kind of just me. I've trying to learn to survive is the short answer, and the long answer is just learning to deal with for those of y'all who don't know or haven't seen yet, I'm totally blind. So as I've gotten older, I've had to, you know, kind of step up my game a little bit as far as um, learning to be a little more independent, learning skills that I maybe didn't know in school to help with that. And that's hard when you're 20 something and you just want to live your life. But I mean, the reality of it is that it's my life and I have to take that initiative. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses. But to tie that into the music, that's really again what's helped me having friends that just love to play music because they love to play it and love to be around me because they enjoy my company, I guess. And that's a really big morale booster for me is knowing that I have people in my corner and we bond through music, but at the end of the day, we get to go home and bond as true friends, friends in Christ and friends in, in music in all sense of the word. We're friends, so they know when I'm having a rough day and they try to help me be as independent as I can and the reality of it is that they know that I need help and I know that I need help. So, um, learning to kind of be as self-sufficient as I can, but knowing that it's not necessarily a bad thing to ask for help is something that is hard for me because I'm pretty prideful, but it also gives me peace that, I do have people that I can go to,
I think Angel and Heather, I think that was what I was shooting for. And when I got that, I wanted to shout on here, but then I was like, no, I don't. I'll keep it calm because I don't know if people will recognize that to start. And that's perfectly okay, but it plays a part in your story and it makes you who you are. It
It
doesn't
does,
you're not
yeah.
you're not totally defined by your blindness, but your blindness is a part of you and you're learning and you have learned how to step into that. And I just think that's an amazing gift.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, as a teenager, I guess going into my 20s maybe, I really struggled with making that a part of my testimony, making that a part of my life, which is ironic because it's literally everyday life for me is knowing how to navigate, knowing how to ask for help, knowing when not to ask for help. And finally, somebody sat there and had to sit me down and say, "Look, man, like you, I don't know why you're so ashamed when you have so many people around you that help you out, and when you're learning to be self-sufficient, it's not like you're not expecting everyone to do things for you, and you're not, you know, you're out here playing a lot, and you're traveling, and I was in college then and navigating that through COVID, and they said it's nothing to be ashamed of, and I've come to understand that now.
And you're definitely a champion. You have to always remember that you may not be able to see like some can, but I think in life we all have something that we wish we could change. Maybe it's a disability, maybe it's something else, and learning to accept it and just kind of know, okay, this is the testimony God gave me. But the fact that you even play and you travel and you just don't give up and say, well, I have this, so I'm just not going to ever do anything in my life and not
Right.
even try is just incredible because I can't even imagine I mean, I know what it is like to have a illness, but I don't know
Right.
what it would be like to do that. And I can just think that it's so unimaginably difficult because we use our senses for everything. Maybe it's our sight, our hearing, everything. And so I can even remember when I had my transplant and I had difficulty because my cornea got scratched in an
Right.
emergency. And just having blurry vision, it made me so much more appreciative to say, some people have it worse than this, but I will regain my vision, but some people don't. And it made me have an appreciation of saying, what is it like for those and how incredible is it that they can still get up each day and live life? And I mean, you're saying you're so independent. Me and Champ are the same way. And that Champ will tell you sometimes it's to a fault, but at the same time, it's so amazing because it helps us so much in life and helps us have that courage to just do things and know that our disabilities do not define us like that. We can continue to pursue our dreams. And so I think you just need to pat yourself on the back and say, I'm a champion, because to us you are. And I know so many others. Champ, what do
Heather,
you?
I'm sitting over here and I'm kind of intrigued because I'll say it again and I'll probably say this three times before the end of the episode. This is where I wanted us to get with you, Angel, because I do believe there is a point where you just have to acknowledge. Um,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
and I will say that it was much different for me, but it was also very much the same. It took me a while to get to a point where I wanted the CP to be kind of a vocal point in some ways of
Right.
the ministry, of the life, because I didn't want to be known as the crippled, or I didn't want to be
Mhm.
known as the person in the walker. But now it's like,
Now he
shoot,
claims it.
That's who you are. Yeah.
yeah, I
You
name
got
it
to
and
claim
claim it,
that.
and I think it's just a powerful testimony to say that. And so when Heather was like, "I know you have questions," I'm like, "I don't have questions. I'm just irritated because I want to know this part of the story." And
Mhm.
I think you even said something else that caught my attention. I don't even know if Heather caught it when you talked about being so young and loving kind of the instrument, wanting to sit at a piano and play after
Yeah.
at four, being in church and wanting to play the hymns. I've always been told, and you're proving that today, that when you lose one sense, you gain one even stronger. And so just that gift of being able to say like that one is gone, but here's something else that just kind of elevates it a little bit more. And so I just think that's a gift. So
Well, thank you. Yeah, I don't know where I don't know because nobody else in my family plays. My dad wanted to learn when he was a kid and he wanted to play accordion and I think he took one lesson and said the heck with it. So I don't know if it's maybe somewhere farther down the line, 'cause not even my grandparents played. So it was interesting, man. And it's been a really cool process. I'm at a point now where I'll kind of say this too. I was getting real kind of fidgety, I wanted to be somewhere else. I wanted more opportunities and um there was a point where I guess God kind of laid it on my heart and that whole thing, be still and know that I am God is kind of that happened to me. And it was one day I remember I came home from a gig and I was like, I don't really want to be doing necessarily the same gigs over and over. I see all these people, and social media was at fault. I see all these people online, and they're out doing cool things in Nashville, and I'm over here in B Boone or Asheville, playing some dive, and finally, I went home and I was really tired, and I I just started praying for peace because I wanted to go to sleep really. How when you're trying to go to sleep and your mind's just going round and round. And I don't know, I just felt comfort in what I did that night, even though I didn't start out feeling that way. And that's where I am right now, is that I'm just trying to make any connections that I can. Um, I'm doing, I'm blessed to be able to do that, and wherever I go. I'm playing live and I'm trying to make connections for session work. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. It's nothing really um, exciting when you look at it on paper, but I mean, that's the life of any musician. You just make connections all the time. It doesn't matter where you are or what point you were at. So,
Well, I think God intended for you to do music, and maybe you didn't know when you were 2 years old trying to figure out the instrument, but it's clear that the path was that that's what He wanted your future to be. And to obviously, you're so much more than just a musician, but it's such a amazing thing to say, I have these challenges, but I still, and I think that's where God comes in as saying, He has a testimony for everyone, but we just don't know what it is sometimes until later. And so now that you're an adult and you are figuring out the life thing, it's just amazing, I'm sure, to look back and say, okay, wow, this is where God stepped in. And so I just applaud you for even pursuing your dreams, because I think it's so easy sometimes for people just to give up when things get hard. And it doesn't mean we don't have rough days. All of us have rough days, but just
absolutely.
just continuing to have that tenacity to say, okay, this day is hard, but it's not forever. And we can continue to put one foot in front of the
Yes.
other and keep going. And Champ, obviously, as a pastor, what's your perspective of, because I'm sure you can understand what I'm saying about this, obviously was laid out on his life. As a pastor perspective, what's going through your head about just how incredible Angel is?
So, mm,
He's gonna get emotional.
no, no, I'm not getting emotional. I just want to be very crystal clear with my words, because there's a couple of things that I see from this, and this episode, I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to be a little bit different because I think I'm going to speak into some things. And
No worries.
first things first, just the resolve there. Heather, that's why I struggled with you when you turned it over to me today, is because we didn't even touch on Angel's struggle from a physical perspective. It was all about the music and all about the gifts and the graces from that perspective. And you listen, y'all, when we do these kind of set or pre-episodes or pre-conversations before, she
Right.
might say, like Heather will say, this person deals with this. And I will say that there are times where she'll send it to me and I'll say, okay, and then I won't think about it again. And so then when I saw you this morning, I thought, okay, there's something else going on, but I can't remember what it was. And so that's why I wanted to get into it. And then when I got into it, I was like, that's the crisp. That's the icing on the cake. And I don't know why we're not just diving right there, because of that. And I think, Heather, to go back to your question, I don't believe that God puts certain things on just one person's life. I think that he allows us to step into, because I do not believe we're like puppets on a string. This happened, this happened, this happened. I believe it gives us the choice to, you know, walk in any direction that we choose. We have the choice to accept or deny. And Angel, thanks be to God, has said, okay, this is a gift. This is more than just a gift, I would say. It's more of an anointing. And so, like, I'm going to use that for your glory. Okay, God, there's also the sense of the struggle and the challenge that I have. Lord, I'm still even, how old are you?
27.
27. So I'm still trying to figure all of that out
Mhm.
in addition to the music and life and, independence. And so I think that like God just gives us it's like a painter. He gives us the slate and he says, here, run, jump, play, sing, paint, do whatever you need to do. Um, and I will lead you if you ask me to, but I will also give you the freedom to kind of make the path. Um, and God does that. And I just think that
Yes, he does.
I think that Angel understands that. I think I hear even some kind of, and I'm gonna be completely honest and blunt, some reservations in some of that too, of the like, I know this, but I struggle here. And I
And
think
you're right. Yeah.
the struggle is so good. And then the last thing I'll say is the struggle is so good. Like
Mhm.
we always want to run from the challenge. We always want to say like, I don't want to deal with this today, or why did you put this on me today?
Hmm.
And scripture even says like he uses the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. And the things that the world says, you know, why would you want to play music? Why would you want to travel?
Exactly.
Why would you want to put that burden on somebody else? Because somebody else has to, very similar to my own situation, even though I'm not blind, someone else has to come alongside and say, okay, I'm going to go with you on this journey. And if I was to say, or Heather, if you were to say, no, think about the blessing that you're denying to
Yeah.
give birth to. And so, just a lot of different things. And the last thing that I couldn't help but think about when I was listening to Angel talk, Heather, was the thought of when I was in seminary, somebody asked me, why am I trying so hard? What am I trying to accomplish? And the thing they said was, don't deny somebody the opportunity to wash their feet.
Mm.
And so, like, him,
Wow.
Angel, giving us the opportunity to listen and to hear and to sit, I can tell you he's washed my feet today. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. We're done.
Well, Angel, I really just appreciate your vulnerability. And as we close today, I want to just ask you if you could tell anyone that maybe deals with similar challenges and they have a dream on their mind and heart to pursue, what would your advice be to them as a champion yourself on just continuing to do it and not give up just because things get hard or maybe difficult?
Oh man, that's a hard one. Well, I'll say I'll say this, and this I don't like to say it, but it's always been true for me. Um, and it's to enjoy the struggle,
Mm,
enjoy maybe not knowing people and finding a little circle of people that struggle with what you're struggling with and talk about it, laugh about it, and or maybe it's finding other blind musicians, let's say, and connecting and enjoying the process of maybe trying to find one or two people to start because it's I'll tell you it's so rewarding in the end. But one of my biggest struggles is to try to enjoy the process because I want that result and I want that, the satisfaction of being done with whatever the task may be. And so that's kind of my message is to enjoy the process and I would hope that you have um you know somewhere to go in regards to the Lord and I hope you know the Lord because I'm here to do his will as Champ said. That's the number one thing. I don't do this for me. I don't do this for clout. I don't come on here and say that I'm blind so other people can feel sorry for me or whatever. If this has touched you in any way, that's the Lord, and I'm so grateful to him more than anything. So lean on him more than anything else, more than anybody else. And as Champ said it so amazingly, he will lead you where he needs you to be. And that's a hard pill to swallow because we want to do things on our own terms. We want to do things when we're ready. And that's not how God works.
Well, that is an incredible response. And Champ and I both are over here clapping our hands. Champ was acting very giddy over that response. So
Oh, I would
I
love it
just
every
want to
freaking
thank
bit
you
of
so
this.
much. Like, thank you so, so much for this
Thank y'all
amazing
for having me.
conversation. And we will also shout out before we end, shout out where people can follow you on social media so they can hear your.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have my music page. It's Angel Paez Music on Facebook. That's kind of where you can find me. One of my goals is to be posting more videos, more photos of the places I'm going to and the places I've been for 2026 so we can get those followers up on there. And then if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's angel_musician. That's kind of more of a chill platform for me. I don't really do much on there, but I do post every now and then. And that's also, it might be a easier way to follow along with my stories for just traveling and session work and stuff like that. And then if you need session work or anything like that, you can just shoot me a message on any of those or send me an email somehow and we'll get it going.
Awesome, awesome. Champ, I'm going to let you end it today. And
Yeah, you are. Yeah,
thank
you
you
are.
again, Angel. It was
Thank
really
you
good.
guys
It
so
took me a minute
much.
to drive
I
this
loved
whole thing a little
this.
bit, but we got there. We got there. But as Heather said, and as Angel said, and I think the thing that I hope that people gather from this is when you walk into a room, you walk into a room to meet people. And you don't, and I think one of the things that Angel did so perfectly is I think, and I learned something from this today. Like I walk into a room and sometimes I want to throw myself into it. And that's not always the greatest thing. And Angel did such a perfect job of kind of walking in and just keeping the temperature. And then when he popped, when I asked the question, he popped. That was the confetti, the grace. And so like that was just a beautiful lesson. It's not all about you. It's not all about us.
Exactly.
It's about walking the journey. And then when it clicks, that's God.
Hmm.
So we hope that you enjoyed today's episode. We hope that you will join us next week for the next installment. We've got some great episodes in store, and Angel was just an incredible way to encapsulate, I think, what a champion is, because that is exactly who Angel is. He's a champion for Christ, he's a champion for music, and he's a champion, I would say, for the next generation of musicians.
Amen.
Good way to put it.
Well, thank you guys so much. God bless y'all. I love y'all. Keep the shield of faith, as Ephesians says, and I wish nothing but good things for you
Ooh,
guys
listen to that.
for
Okay, we're good.
26. I love y'all.
Thank you and God bless.
Thank you.